Hi, this is Shekhar Suman and you're watching IndiaGlitz.com. No, I think it was a natural progression as an actor to a director, and I'm really thankful to Mr. Amitabh Bachchan for having said those wonderful, kind words. I don't think I deserve it, but I think he's always encouraging. Yes, after a point I always was wanting to become a director. I think when I saw different kind of films, I was always so inspired by good filmmakers, right from Guru Dutt to Bimal Roy to Rajkumar Hirani to a lot of people, Manish Habib, Kabir Khan, Anurag Kashyap, Basu. I think they are all fantastic filmmakers, and I used to wonder whether I can make films like this or not. I was terribly inspired by them, and I thought, why not give it a try? So here I am with Heartless, and I'm hoping for the best. I've chosen a story which is very different, which the audience has not seen before, because I deal with something very interesting called anesthesia awareness. A lot of people, I've been trying to educate them so that they go and when they watch the film they know what it is all about. Anesthesia is administered, general anesthesia, to patients before surgery, where a lot of patients become unconscious. Some are unfortunate and they stay conscious but they get bodily paralyzed. So they start hearing sounds and they start experiencing pain, but they cannot scream for help. Now that's a phenomenon that they get trapped in. It's very frightening. So that becomes a driving force in my film. It pushes me toward the story that I want to say. Why won't I take my own son? I mean, I have not been able to understand why would they ask a father, why aren't you taking others, and why are you taking your own son? If a father won't take his own son, then who would? The neighbors. Obviously, I had to take my son because he's an actor, and I think he's a competent actor. And when the script came along, it was pre-decided that he would enact that role of the protagonist. I think it was all destiny that I was auditioning a lot of girls, and then a short film made by Adhyayan while he was studying at the New York Film Academy came along, and I was impressed by her audition, and that's how I chose her. Yes, it has not been a part of Hindi films. And I think, unless you don't give something new, like for instance, Wiki donor. The concept of a sperm donor, people had not heard of it, and even when they got to know of it, it was quite amusing, and it was quite, it was quite funny that, there can be sperm donors. And that's what people liked, because the filmmaker tried something different. It's because people are bored to death watching the same kind of film, the same faces, the same kind of songs. At least, I'm not saying I made the best film in the world, but at least I have tried to make a different kind of film, give it a different flavor, so that at least the audience that spends $400 has a different experience. This was not just to thrill the audience, but also to tell them that this actually happens. And it could happen to anybody, and so a lot of people who would be watching the film might feel that it is happening to them. So it's going to be a very there's going to be a lot of excitement while you watch the film. So it's important that you have to of course entertain people. I'm not saying you're there to educate people, but if education also happens with entertainment, because I have laid a lot of emphasis on relationships, mother-son bonding, two people, how they love. And in today's time, when we all talk about falling in love, there's a lot of instances where you're also falling out of love. There's a lot of heartless space in your life where you have been heartless to someone, or someone has been heartless to you. It's a world where boyfriends or girlfriends are changed faster than your shirt. So we are living in a different world, and I think Heartless is in that space where it does talk about a few good hearts and the few not so good hearts. Sweetheart, everything is tedious. Whatever you are doing is tedious, because you do this day in and night out. You hold a mic and you have to think every time, now how am I going to be different from the rest of the reporters? What different questions should I ask? So, nothing comes easy in life. I mean, and especially for somebody like you, I admire, because you have to do this day in and night out, and you're doing this every hour. So you have to be different every time you do it. So that becomes very tedious. Yes, but I think, if you take that as excitement, then nothing is tedious. If you find cinema, filmmaking as excitement, I'm excited to write a script, I'm excited to cast, I'm excited to go for a recce, I'm excited sitting and editing my film, I'm excited about my background. That excitement and passion, as long as it's there, nothing is difficult and nothing is tedious. Hasi To Phasi is just one of the many films that are releasing, but luckily on the 7th there are not many films, there are just 2 films. Whereas if you look back, you would see that on a single Friday you have had 9 releases, 10 releases. I think there is space for everyone, and Hasi To Phasi is just one of the 2 films that are, and there are 2 smaller films as well. So there's space for everyone. If they are in 1,000 theatres or 15 and there are 5,000 theatres, so we can easily share and both of us can be happy. That controversy is not mine. That controversy is theirs. You have to understand that the controversy is between the singers and the musicians. It has nothing to do with the producer. Producer, poor thing, has become a victim, without any fault of his. The controversy is that the singers are not wanting to sign a contract given by the music company because they think it's not right, it's unconstitutional, it's feudal, it's illegal, blah blah. Music company feels that what they are asking for, the royalty, is wrong, it's unethical, because when they do shows and they sing songs, they don't share the royalty. So why do they want to have a separate royalty when they are making money on their own singing someone else's songs? Both of them could be right, both of them could be wrong. My question is, what is the fault of the producer? If I am releasing my film and both of you are fighting, my film is stuck like what happened to Abhay Deol, right? So I guess that, and also that when a couple of singers in my film, like Sonu Nigam, Sunidhi Chauhan, they had sung songs in my film. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep them. They had sung their songs 1.5 years ago when all these things were had not come into practice. So my question is, if I hadn't got the contract signed then and it was valid then, how does it become invalid now? Industry is emotional. It's not a heartless industry. Okay, we work on emotional contracts, not paper contracts. So anyway, I hope it was unfortunate that I had to replace one of my favorite singers, Sonu and Sunidhi, whom I absolutely admire. But I had to because I had to release my film. But I'm also happy that KK came and helped me out with the track that Nikhil had sung, and Mohit Chauhan came and sang Sonu's song. It's sounding very good. So each one has his own style and own flavor. I wish I could have retained the original singers, but the newer ones are equally good. I cannot be very confident of what I have created till the audience feels confident. So I have to wait for the Friday to come. I'm happy what I'm content with what I have done. You set out to do things, you set out a goal, and then when you sit back and look at it from a distance, you should feel happy about the whole thing. So I'm happy, maybe also confident, yes, but eventually it is the audience's verdict that matters the most. So I cannot possibly sit here and say, oh, what a great film I have made, or Adhyayan is fantastic, because even when people ask me about Adhyayan, I cannot praise him too much, because at the end of the day I'm a father, so it doesn't hold any value. Let the audience praise him. I think he's done a competent job, and I just pray to God, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the audience would appreciate him and give him his due. Yes and no, because you have seen instances where critics have run down a film and it has gone and done super business, and vice versa, that they have praised and given 5 stars and the film hasn't done well. But of course they are learned people, they know about cinema, they learn cinema, but at the end of the day it's a one man opinion and one person's opinion. So it should not be taken too seriously. Of course, one feels happy when you get a lot of stars, you feel bad when you don't, and then you start abusing the critics. That's not a good thing. I think, don't take it too seriously.